Hi, welcome back. In this set of practice questions, you will find questions that require proper use of the calculator and some smart reasoning skills. Your best bet is to read the question slowly without judgment. Do not deem a question difficult unless you have thoroughly read the question and you have collected and gathered all the information and you know for sure that this question is difficult. Then you may omit. I want you to time yourself this time. Allow no more than 1 minute to do each question. So let's get started. Pause your video now and look at question 1. Try and do the question and then run the video for the next question. Let's look at first question here. The plane whose equation is 3x plus 4y minus 5z is equal to 60 and it intersects the xy plane in the line whose equation is, well, this is kind of tricky in my opinion. Let's use logic. If this plane here with the 3 points is intersecting the xy plane only, then technically there is no z-plane at all. So in these equations here, z is equal to 0. So we want to reject E. We will reject B and C because we do want the y and the x plane. So 3x plus 4y is equal to 60 is in the xy plane, and 3x minus 4y equals 0 is in the xy plane too. We want to pick this one and not this because if it's intersecting, the equation has to match. Minus the z. Moving on to the next question. Pause your video, allow yourself a minute and pick the correct answer. If 5 and 3 plus root 2 are zeros of the integral polynomial, which is to the 4th power ax to the 4 plus bx cubed minus cx plus d, which of the following must also be a 0? So I want you to notice the fact that it says must also be a 0. One of the roots is 5, so a factor of that polynomial has to be x minus 5. The other root is 3 plus root 2, so the factor of the polynomial must have been x plus 3 plus root 2. Now we also know that anytime there is a plus root 2, there should also be 3 minus root 2. So the other factor would have been x plus 3 minus root 2. And this is, you must have that. So this is a possibility. So the correct answer is B. Here's the next question. If 3x plus 4 is equal to 2 times y plus 2, what is the ratio of x, y? I hope you got this one. Let's see. So we have 3x plus 4 is equal to 2y plus 4. Once you write it out like this, you can see that the 4's disappear. They're looking for the ratio of y over x. So if we divided both sides by x, you will have 3 is equal to 2y over x. Now if you divided both sides by 2, you will have 3 over 2 is equal to y over x. So the ratio of y to x is B. So the correct answer here is B. Congratulations if you got this one. Moving on. Pause your video and try this one. Okay, recall the change in base formula here. In your logarithm section, if you have log of say 3, 5, you cannot do this on your calculator without the use of your change in base formula. So you get to pick any base you want. Let's say log base 10, 5 over log 3. Or you could have chosen ln 5 over ln 3. So here you see that you cannot use your calculator with the base 7. So you will go log root 3 over log 7. And plug this in your calculator, and hopefully you got answer C, 0.2822. The calculator will give you something like 0.2822. How about this one? Pause your video now. If f of x is sine x, g of x is e to the x, then what is f of g of pi? Well, I think we can do this, right? So if f of g of x is equal to sine e to the power x, then f, let's put a parenthesis here, f of g of pi should be sine e to the power pi. I want to remind you, check your calculator and make sure that this is in radians. Plug this in your calculator, being careful to keep this in parentheses, e to the power pi, and hopefully you got the answer negative 0.916. Now, if you did not have it in the radians, you may have gotten another answer, which is in this answer choice. So be very careful. If you're working in radians, you want to check your calculator each time. If you're working in degrees, you want to set your calculator in degrees. Okay, here's another one. Pause your video now and try this. In the figure, r sine theta is equal to what? So we know that this is the reference angle. We're allowed to use the reference angle, which will give the same answer as the theta. So sine theta is equal to opposite over hypotenuse, which is equal to b over r. So r sine theta is equal to b. And the correct answer is B. Congratulations if you got this. Moving on to the next one. Okay, pause your video and try this one. What is the y-intercept of y is equal to root 5 cos x plus pi over 5? I'm hoping you didn't make your life very difficult here. You know from your basic algebra that y-intercept is when x is equal to 0. So all you had to do was plug 0 here and use your calculator, set it in the radian mode, or check to see that if it is still in the radian mode, and then just plug and calculate it on your calculator. 0 plus pi over 5 is simply pi over 5. The correct answer is B. Pause your video, try this one. If 3 collinear points determine a plane, how many planes are determined by 10 points and no 3 of which are collinear? Okay, so we really need to figure out how we can choose 3 unique points from 10. How do you choose 3 from 10? And you can use your calculator, or you can use 10 factorial over 3 factorial times 7 factorial. I recommend that you do use your calculator. Basically, what you will do is you will push 10, math, find probability, option 3, and type in 3 again because you're choosing 3. Type 3 and push enter. So whether you did it by formula or by calculator, hopefully you got 120, and that's your answer right there. Okay, next question. Pause your video and try this. Okay, remembering my advice at the beginning of the video, don't deem any question difficult unless you have evidence for it. So f of xy is defined by tan x plus tan y, and g of xy is defined by 1 minus tan x times tan y. So what is f of 1, 2 and g of 1, 2? You can see that the answer choices are in decimal, so you know you'll need a calculator. So simply follow the directions. So this one would be tan 1 plus tan 2. The denominator would be 1 minus tan 1 times tan 2. Check your calculator, make sure it's in radians, and figure out the answer. And the answer should be negative 0.6276 divided by 4.4030. The final answer is negative 0.1425, and your choice is B. Congratulations if you did this. Okay, this is the last question. Pause your video and try this on your own, and then run the video. Okay, let's look at this question. Compared to the graph y is equal to f of x, the graph of y equals f of x plus 2 minus 3 is, you know that the transformation rule tells you that it's 3 units down and 2 units left. So correct answer is B. 3 units down, 2 units left. Very good. Thank you for doing this set of practice questions. I'll see you again. Goodbye.